Welcome to the Delaware County Commissioner meeting of Monday, December the 16th, 2024. It's now 9:03. Please stand for the pledge. Okay. Auditor Carol, would you want to do the roll call, please?
Ms. Tedering. Here. Ms. Reagan.
Present.
Ms. King. Ms. Burke. Here.
Thank you. We have a public hearing, and what would you like to do?
Morning, Commissioner. John Catino, Delaware County Emergency Management Director. I think most of you are aware that we've been working for the past year on our multi-hazard mitigation plan. We did secure some funding from the state and the feds to move forward with that using Vantage Point Consulting. They've been working with us, and we've held, maybe three meetings to update plans for the county with the various municipalities. So Troy Jester is here from Vantage Point Consulting. He'll go over that plan, and we're looking to get approval from you guys to adopt that.
Thanks, John, and thank you for having us today. The plan, we started about a year and a half ago. And like John mentioned, it does include at least 3 meetings, this being one of those meetings, but we did include all of local responders, local municipalities. We had a very good showing from your county as far as towns and cities, so very, very good showing from that. And the effort is just to gather information. This is a plan that's updated every 5 years for the county. You're required to do that to be able to seek mitigation funds if you ever had a catastrophe or a large emergency. So it's very important that these cities, towns are involved in this process, because if they're not, they cannot seek those funds. So, John did a very good job with his staff to get them to the table, and we have that feedback from them. The feedback that's updated, there's, like I said, it's every 5 years, so there's small changes to flood maps and, those, the things that there's not big instrumental changes to those maps over the course of a year, but having those updated every 5 years, that you can kind of see a little bit more of the changes that's taken place, if any. The demographics of the county is also something is included into that. We look at travel, how the occupants of the county or residents of the county are traveling out for work or traveling to the county for work, and that affects how, we would respond to an emergency within the county. The emergency themselves, the threats themselves are evaluated and looked at based upon current, data, current requirements from FEMA. FEMA did require in this plan to look at climate change and temperature change. But, active threat, active assailant, that is something that's been included into the plan over, 10 or 20 years ago. We weren't really looking at that. The same as civil unrest really wasn't a threat to the county, prior to the last couple of plans. So those have been updated. The other big piece that has been updated is future mitigation strategies. So what is the county, what is your departments doing about these mitigation threats that we've identified? And, that's part of including those towns and cities into that process. So many of those have been updated. Some have been added, some have been removed because they've either been completed or they've been removed due to other reasons. So the plan itself is somewhat of a living document. There are goals built into the plan. So John and his staff would be looking at future things, and then trying to in the future make it more of a living document to where the reviews maybe will be a little less cumbersome, if you will, because we tried to set the plan up to where it's more self-sustaining. So, any questions?
There might be some you're for, so anybody else want to speak in favor? Okay, good. No.
Yeah, I'm good. I attended some of the, meetings prior to, and, they were well-attended meetings, and, you know, there were questionnaires we had to respond to, and so I thought it all worked well. I think your company did a good job doing that.
Thank you, appreciate that.
So, now, anybody want to speak against the said plan?
One thing moving forward too, I'll add,
You're
Troy-
not speaking against it, right, John?
I'm sorry.
You're not speaking against it, right?
No, I'm all for it. So, but like Troy said, as a living document, one thing that we did do is, secure more funding for next year to, have a commodity flow study, conducted here in Delaware County, which we haven't had one of those for years. It'll study all commodities, rail and, highway through the county. So we'll be able to take that information and build into this plan as well, you know, future steps that we need to take. It'll also go to the jurisdictional fire departments and police agencies, for their plan updates as well, so.
Okay,
Motion to close the public hearing?
second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King,
thanks for all your work.
You want to go ahead and vote on the plan?
You want to?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we, accept the plan as presented.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Thank you, commissioners. Our next step with this is to go to the municipalities and small towns and have them adopt this plan as well as their emergency plan. So we'll be doing that this next year.
Good job.
Thank you.
it's not back here anymore. Okay. So we'll start with, our meeting. I think that, tabled business, we've already done those bids, so I think we should remove that.
Those are the bids for the parking lot, aren't they?
They have to stay on until we pay them.
We've not made a decision on it yet.
We've not made a decision because we're waiting on some
Waiting on
numbers on the
our-
ARP plan.
Totals still.
Angie did get consent to carry that over till, at least the end of the year.
Yes. Well, did you look at the November 18th
I
meeting?
didn't,
You didn't?
I didn't.
I'll make a motion, we take those meeting minutes off the table.
Second. Remove. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. King,
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes from the November 18th meeting.
second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes,
Mr. King.
thank you. And then we also have the December 2nd meeting minutes.
Motion to approve those minutes as well.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Thank you. Now, under presentations, Ms. Baines, Blevins is here with IRAX.
Good morning. Excuse my voice in advance. My name is Jamie Blevins. I am with the IRAX program as well as Allie is as well. We are, if you don't know what IRAX is, it stands for Integrated Reentry and Correctional Support. We started here in Delaware County in July of 2022. We started going into the jails. Most of the people on our team is peer recovery coaches. So we go in and we start reentry processes with individuals who are incarcerated. We have different portions of our teams. We all do warm handoffs. So we start with a forensic peer. They work with them while they're incarcerated. If they're going to be leaving or going to IDOC, our navigator actually works with them and starts giving them resources to get them set up for success for when they're released. Then once they're released, the first 30 days, our reentry peer works with them, gives them resources, gets them to the places that need to go, in order for them to be successful. If they stay engaged with us for the 30 days for reentry, we then will give a warm handoff to our community peer recovery coaches. It's been a huge success here in Delaware County. We work alongside of the jail commander, Jeremy Dye. Had some really good meetings with Chief Deputy and Sheriff Tony Skinner and Jeff Stanley. There's been a huge, I feel like, turnaround, especially from the sheriff and the jail commander's outlook on things. I just kind of wanted to go over a little bit of the total participants since July 1st of 2022 that we've served is 2,910. The total engagements that we've had with them is 23,404 engagements. The current active participants that we have that are currently incarcerated are 274. And our recidivism rate for the program and the participants since we've been in the jail since 2022 is 16.1%.
Wow.
We offer a matrix program and we also offer a RAP program. Matrix focuses on substance use disorders and criminal behaviors, while the RAP program is a wellness, recovery, and action plan. It focuses more on mental health, making a plan for when somebody is going to have a mental health breakdown and the things they can do to hopefully make sure they don't have one. So we love what we do. Every single one of us love what we do. We've talked with Sherry Riggins a lot. We've actually kind of made her more informative of what we do. So we wanted to come and propose and ask for last year, we asked for 50,000 to continue to do that, especially for the community side. And this year we was going to ask for 75,000. We got our contract. It's like this contract recently that we signed with the IFS and MHAI. They are now asking for a 30% match. So that's why we were trying to, we are wanting to ask for the 75,000 for this year rather than 50,000.
Well, I'd like to say we can give it to you today, but we'll have to discuss it in our budget.
Look at that.
I do think John, we haven't talked about having an edit meeting, but
Oh, I just got, I just got some figures from the auditor's office about what's in the edit plan or what's in the edit account.
yeah,
So we may be able to do something from edit.
edit. Okay, thank you. But I know it's very good news, 16%. That's just unheard of. And congratulations, and your staff is kind of established now. I think
Yes.
everybody's doing such a great job.
Yeah, we appreciate what you do. Well, we'll take a look at funding and see if we can figure something out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have the Mr. Conrad here from the Muncie Sanitary to talk about a property that we're finally getting taken
I
care
hope
of.
so. I hope so. Good morning. Rick Conrad, District Administrator with the Muncie Sanitary District. The Sanitary District is responsible for the maintenance of Muncie's levee systems. These were all built by the Army Corps of Engineers in the 1940s. And the South Levee System in particular is one that protects over $200 million worth of properties, including the building we're in now. But it also relies upon 2 railroad embankments as part of the line of protection. But as maintenance has been required over the years, we've found it nearly impossible to keep these maintenance activities up because the lines are active. So what we have done is we've been working with the Army Corps to create a new line of protection, which will be very close to the old. But this would now terminate at a property at 1725 East Jackson Street. This is a property that the MSD has recently purchased. It is less than a quarter of an acre and it has no structures on it, but the prior owner had accumulated $12,061.77 in unpaid taxes. So we are submitting a petition to cancel these taxes. We have met with the county auditor, assessor, and treasurer, who are in support of this request, and we are now asking for your approval.
Yes. John, have you seen some paperwork on this?
I have. Now that the property has been placed into the name of the sanitary district, the statutory process can be completed this way.
Just one meeting? to do?
Yes, yes, it's just that approval by the commissioners along with the auditor, treasurer, and assessor to, abate the taxes.
I make a motion, we approve the request.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Reagan.
Yes.
King.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the good news. Okay, now we have the, fairgrounds employee handbook, and you've been working with Mr. White. Don,
Yes, I have. I thought Mr. Ison was gonna be here. Oh, okay.
oh, there,
Right. So you wanna get up and talk about it?
Yeah, Tom Ison, Vice President of the Delaware County Fairgrounds, along with Melanie Marshall, our Secretary for the Fair Board. Dan couldn't be here today, he had to work. We was going back through our employee handbook, it hadn't been updated since 2012. So we wanted to update the handbook along with certain people didn't even have copies because we just didn't have them. So it's just time to update it. We did make known to all employees, they are not county employees. Our secretary does have county insurance, but she's not an actual county employee. So we made that clear in the handbook. That's why we have our handbook versus the county's handbook. The only things that really changed in it is we did go with what the county does and combine the personal days and sick days into one, what's that called?
PTO.
PTO. And then, also added that, if the employee drives their own car on fairgrounds business, they are not covered by county insurance, cause that had come up recently, so we did add that. That's pretty much most of the major changes. We didn't have a digital copy, so now we've got a digital copy of the handbook. So moving forward, changes can be made a lot easier. And then also, you've got, employee job descriptions. At the time when we did this, we could only find one job description for all the employees. So we just created new job descriptions for everybody.
appreciate you bringing it, and Mr. Brooke helping you get it updated.
And the Fair Board did approve this November 19th
Yes,
at the Fair Board meeting.
at our regular meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the new fairgrounds handbook and job descriptions.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Thanks for all
Thank
your
you,
work on that. Let Dan know we said thank you also, please.
We will.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
And come
Thank
in
you for-
January and tell us some good news when the beauty queen contest is over and the dates of the fair.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks.
thank you. And thank you guys for what you do for the fairgrounds.
Thank you guys for volunteering. Okay, now we have an asphalt materials.
This is a contract extension for, our liquid asphalt that's used, for paving and chip and seal projects. This extension will lock in our price from 2023.
Good news.
Motion to approve.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Reagan.
Yes,
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Thank you.
thank
Thanks.
you. And then our new handbook revisions.
Yes, Pam has had a meeting. She, will be unable to be here, but Pam and I have been working on this handbook revision for several months, we've had input from different departments. Primarily the revisions were, clarifying the PTO time, how it's to be applied, and questions that have popped up, that have come up to Pam, so that we can have a consistent interpretation. The other things have, we've added to some clarification on the, level 1, level 2 offenses as they've occurred. Some offenses have occurred that weren't accounted for, and so we've made some changes to that. Cleaned up some of the typos, grammatical errors, changed some of the numbering around so it's a little easier to find and address, and removed all the references to the, union contracts, since we don't have any union contracts anymore. That was a big part of it, and addressed, made sure that it was uniform for the entire, county, for those departments that have specific needs, like the 911 and, the highway department. So it primarily addresses the employees that are commissioner employees. But we've asked all the other elected officials to sign off on it as well, and so Pam's working on that.
Board of Health and the courts have their own.
Board of Health and the courts have their own, correct. But, they work with the counties on theirs as well, because
Right.
whatever they don't cover, they reference the county handbook. So I know we work with Emily on that, and also Jamie.
Very good. Thanks again for getting that taken care of. Yes, sir.
Matt Cant, Delaware County Council. So as part of during the budget process and the job study that we created we're creating a HR committee that would be established after the first of the year. So I would request that any changes to the employee handbook wait until that committee is formed and can weigh in on potentially some other additional needs that are gonna come with that handbook. There's some policy things and other factors that may play into that, so just respectfully requesting you hold off on any changes until that occurs. Thanks.
Well, the handbook is a living, breathing document, and we alter it and change it about every 2-3 years. So it's always subject to revision, depending on the need. We've been working on this particular one for about a year now, year and a half.
But one more month wouldn't really hurt if we,
Well, it depends on how long, once the committee's formed, and how long it's gonna take for the committee to actually put it into place, or make some recommendations, so.
The committee should be formed in January. I would expect that it'll meet on the second. On the second, it'll be formed, yeah. And then we would hope and anticipate there'd be a meeting as soon as possible within the month of January, but that's TBD.
well, I like to make the motion to, table it.
I'll second it, but there's some things in the handbook that we gotta get this done quick, so we need to, I'll agree to table it, but this has to be done quick. I'm not gonna wait till July to
Right.
approve it,
Right,
so. I'll second it.
thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Sternring?
Yes.
Strigan?
Yes.
King?
Okay. Now the stop loss policy contract for the health insurance.
Yes, this is another one of Pam's. This is, same contract that we've had. The county has health insurance, or it's self-insured in essence. But it's self-insured up to the number of $200,000. This contract is what's called a stop loss gap policy for those claims that exceed $200,000. The insurance then covers that. And so this is a contract that we approve every year for those numbers. And I think Pam has shared with all of you what that potential is. You pay for it, you hope you never use it, but in the last couple of years, we've used it a couple times, so it's insurance on top of insurance based, or not insurance on top of insurance, it's insurance for our self-insured retention pool.
I remember years ago, it was only 100,000 when it came in, I believe.
Right.
Now,
Motion to approve?
Second, roll call please.
Ms. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
Ms. King.
thank you. Now the progressive rail exterior equipment pad addition. John, have you been working on that?
Yes, I have, and Angie's ill today, so, I told her I would help her with these. This is for a drainage variance on, Progress Rail exterior equipment. She's asking for a variance so that they can continue on this particular project out there at Progress Rail in the industrial center.
One of the engineering companies did take a look at that too, and they recommend this as well.
You know, while they're out there, I hope they look at the rail, that bike path stops. I don't know who's supposed to be working on it. If it's the rail, we'll have to wait 6 years probably for them to,
That's already being addressed,
is it?
yes,
Good.
where the path stops, yes.
Yeah, we had a heck of a time. We couldn't get anybody from the rail company
call
to
you
even.
back, do
They
they?
don't call you back, they pass it around, so we sent a rather, stern email and letter to members of the board of directors. And lo and behold, we got some responses.
Well, how about that?
I'll make a motion, we approve the request out of Progress Rail.
Second, roll call please.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Ms. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Okay, then we have the local public agency project coordinator.
No, we have the unofficial
Official
detour
detour
reimbursement.
Oh, the
Reimbursement.
unofficial.
This one was, for the detour that happened around,
Oh, yeah.
67 on Blacks Mill Road and
Yeah.
Granville, or Old Granville, I'm sorry. Our highway department, and our engineering office, they did a tremendous job of keeping all of the information, together during this detour, which you know was most of the summer. Our goal was that those roads got beat up pretty bad. Our goal is to, get those repaved. I had Troy, give us an estimate. The estimate was $201,449.60. I went to Greenfield along with, our people from the highway and engineering office, and they agreed to that amount, believe it or not.
We should have partied, cause that's
We
unreal
should,
that
we should have, yes.
they've ever.
It was a good job by,
Congratulations.
it was a good job by the guys at the highway and again, the engineering office for, keeping everything together. We had EMA, out there, Kyle Johnson and John, they went out and took, pictures and video before, video and pictures after. We had all the documentation for this thing. So I think they had to do something, but I appreciate that. And I'll make a motion, we approve, this contract as well.
Second, roll call please.
Ms. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes.
Ms. King.
Okay. Now we're ready for the local public.
The general services agreement.
That's the, one we've had for, I think it's $15,000.
Yes, this is with Triad, Associates. It's
Mr.
for
Moan,
engineering services as needed.
it's, someone that Angie can call if she needs something and,
Correct. There's a consultant that helps on projects that Angie needs from
Well,
time to
I
time.
think you're talking about the local public agency project? That's,
Oh, local public.
yeah, we
agency.
did, because this one is for Bridge 112, Sherry. That's the bridge, out there, County Road 600 South, the one that has the, other female commissioner's name on it.
yes, yes.
So that's, the agreement is for
Oh, I'm
that.
sorry.
I'm sorry, yeah, this is for,
And that bridge was built in 1955 and it's just now being replaced. So that tells you they're making cement a little bit different nowadays. Okay.
This
I'm sorry.
agreement's, this has been increased $18,732. So I'll make a motion, we approve that as well.
Second, please. Roll call.
Ms. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
King.
Okay. Now we're ready for the general service agreement. That's 15,000.
This is with, Trad Associates, it's 15,000 per year, it's a 2-year contract. I'll make a motion, we approve that agreement with Triad.
Roll call, please. Second, roll call.
Steinrich,
Yes.
Strigan,
Yes,
King.
okay. Now we have our, Baker Tilly consulting agreement with the
Before we get into those, could we have the council, they're up here, there's an agreement that they're trying to request the commissioner to consider. They've
Which
already
one?
passed the funding for it. It's got to do with the, importing of data of the job
Is it on
classifications.
here?
No,
So it's the data. Who's bringing it?
it's,
Oh, the council.
we've been working on this for about 6 weeks.
And we just didn't get it on the
Right.
agenda. Okay, we'd like to get things done.
Yeah, sure. So this was, well, good morning, Commissioners. President of the Council, Jessica Piper. We have been working on that whole job reclassification and job study and whatnot, and this was a request by the auditor's office at our last council meeting to approve some monies to have a company come in and assess if they could do a large data dump versus manual entry of this new information. So that's what we were here in partnership with the auditor, or in support of the auditor in that request.
And this initial is for the assessment of what that data can and can't do, correct? We're
Right.
talking about
It's just to
specifically.
really find out if we can do it. I mean, we're working with the software company that does our payroll and that company there, but they don't even know if they can do it. Because it's like 5,000 fields of data we have to manually enter, and would
Wow.
be a big burden on our office and HR to enter all that data, so this would eliminate the errors if we could possibly get it done.
And you have the fund for it.
We approved
They've
the
already
money at our
approved the
last
funds.
meeting.
You-
How much is the contract for?
This was like 1,200 for the
$1,200.
initial.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second, roll call, please.
Ms. Henry,
Yes.
Strigan,
Yes,
King,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, now we're gonna do Baker Tilly
thank you, council.
consulting.
So these contracts, we discussed these in one of our meetings, concerning ARPA. These are all administrative, agreements to fill the next 2 years. We're required by the end of the year to have all this money obligated. And this is the next to last step to have this money obligated. So once these contracts, if they're executed, we'd have to come back to each one of these, vendors and have an obligation agreement signed. And that has to be done by the end of the year. And that's essentially to obligate the money before, throughout the rest of 26.
Not to exceed $142,750.
Right, that's essentially how all these are written,
And the ARP
right.
has the money, so.
So Baker Tilly modified theirs, so they have a flat fee based on the average what they've been charged up to this point. And then the other agreements have capped each one of them off with a maximum amount. And they've also given discounts since it's a 2-year agreement versus one.
And if people only knew how much book work it's taking for all this money.
Our office alone has invested over 700 hours with man hours already this year,
Yeah,
trying to get this stuff ready. Part of the issue is that this federal grant, they give us the money, and then after the fact, decide how we could spend it. And they would change the ways and how we could spend it every 6 months to a year is the moving target. So it requires a heavy burden on our office to go back and see and make sure we're compliant with all the new changes. So we just finally got the final version of what is expected, so. But there's a lot of time and resources gonna be required for the next 2 years just to make sure we're compliant. Or ultimately, we could be forced to send it back to DC.
And that's not gonna guarantee that Treasury won't change his mind and change some of the parameters also in the next 2 years, because that's also been part of the problem is every few months, Treasury comes up with a new directive or a new concept or new idea. And so there's a lot of work in just keeping up to date on what Treasury's thinking about. And I guarantee that what is today is not gonna be what's in place December 31st, 2026.
let the professionals do it.
So these contracts are with Baker Tilly, Dawson Consulting, Mr. Brook, and OpenGov, correct?
I think there might be another one in there. Consulting services. something. I think there's a total of 5, I believe, that weren't there, John?
I only got 4, actually.
There's independent contractor, and then there's
MGT,
Unique
American
Computer Services.
Consulting.
Right.
Does that sound right? So there is a fifth one,
which includes
John's.
John's.
Yeah,
There's a
okay,
total of
all
5.
right. I'll make a motion, we approve all those contracts.
Without talking about them.
I think that just gives a description of what we're doing.
These are all the ones we discussed in our meeting we had a couple weeks ago, of what the services they perform. Like one of them's for the county to get reimbursement, so we can have a grant, administrator, which is one of the reasons we have to spend so much time from our office, 700 hours, because we really don't have anyone administrating this.
There's
That's
an
that's
independent contractor agreement with, Unique Computer Services. And the scope of services are ARPA project implementation, data transformation, fund account balancing, conversion, validation, database configuration, all having to do with having to convert this information so that reports can be submitted to State Board of Accounts as well as the Department of Treasury. And
Who's
then,
that last one?
there's,
OpenGov.
OpenGov. OpenGov is one of our software providers that already does work for the county, but this is to help also with the, data, that is in our current form, to help, get it so that it can be configured. You've got so many different programs, they all have to talk to each other.
Brian, I'll second it. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Okay. Moving down to first reading, ordinance number 2024-31, an ordinance to amend the emergency medical service billing rates and requirements. Mike Ashley is here. Morning.
Mike Ashley, Delaware County EMS Director. So this ordinance is about increasing our fees and rates for calls. And House Bill 1385 got passed this year by the legislature. That's gonna require private insurance to pay up to 4 times the amount of the Medicare rate. Now, that being said, the insurance companies have found a few loopholes, so they're gonna try to tighten that up through this next session, I was told. But nonetheless, if we don't increase our rates, we won't be able to capture those monies. So it doesn't change anything for Medicare, it doesn't change anything for Medicaid, and we've increased our discount for the self-pays so that those people don't get hurt by this at all. So it's basically, and we haven't increased our rates since 2019, and I think the time before that was like 2011, so. And this is a collaborative, thing. It's gonna, all the EMS services in the state and the region are gonna be doing this, so. If not, you're not gonna get those funds that the legislature is gonna require the insurance companies to pay, so. That's why we're asking for this rate increase.
You've worked on this with your billing company, correct?
A lot, and we're still working with, Anthem. We're having some pushback, but I'll keep you in the loop on that, so. But only 5% of our, payer mix is, self-pays, so we always work with those people that don't have insurance or they're underinsured. Because we don't, we're not trying to rip anybody off or anything, and then, about 24% of the rest of our revenue comes from these Anthem, auto insurance for auto accidents, work comp, and the commercial insurance, and those are the ones that this will affect. So, and hopefully they amend this bill too, to close in those loopholes, we'll be better off too, so.
And it's been a while since we've raised them.
Yeah, 2019 was the last, so this isn't gonna take the place of the 2019 ordinance, so.
I make a motion, we introduce ordinance 2024-032 ordinance, to amend the emergency medical service billing rates and requirements.
Second, roll call, please.
Mr. Reagan,
Yes.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
You wanna
King.
step in?
Yeah, you need this effective January 1, correct?
I do, so I was gonna ask you if you could suspend the rules and
Oh.
vote this thing through.
I'll make a motion, we suspend the rules.
Second. Roll call.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. King.
I'll make a motion, we adopt ordinance number 2024-031.
Second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
King.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Okay, ordinance number 2024-32, an ordinance transferring interest earned on the American Rescue Plan funds.
This is an ordinance concerning the interest on the, that's been earned on the ARP money while it's been on deposit. I would ask the commissioners to introduce this only. We're gonna have to make some revisions because one of those things that Treasury has changed in the last 3-4 weeks is how this interest can be used. So we're gonna have to make some big revisions to this particular this particular ordinance to create a separate fund. And it's not gonna go into revenue recovery, it's gonna go into a separate fund according to the latest from Treasury, so we'll need to do this before the end of the year. So you can introduce it, we'll make some revisions to it, but it's not in the final form as of yet.
So moved.
That's up there.
Matt Cant, Delaware County Council. I just want to stipulate that, our 2025 budget that was approved included, I'm not sure what the dollar amounts currently are in the ARP interest money. The approved amount, that we submitted included this interest money, for 2025. We spent, 50-something hours this year on increasing salaries. That was really what the leveling salaries, increasing salaries, and I think even in some cases, we didn't get to a lot of the employees, that were leveled or see any dramatic increases. So I just want to be known that this money has already been accounted for next year, and if you do take it away, then, we're gonna be up against what appears to be a revenue shortfall for 2025 as it stands today.
I made it clear in the budget meeting that we was gonna use this. I told you that,
Sure,
right?
but the ARP money,
I did. I told, did I not say that we was gonna use the interest in ARP in the
I
budget
did,
meeting?
but
I
what,
did.
whose pocket are you taking it
Okay.
out of?
Make it clear.
Okay, but the only one's gonna be suffering for that potentially are employees.
That's you guys. I told you guys we was gonna use it.
Right.
And I don't know why you're
But-
budgeting non-anticipated money anyway in a
The
budget.
money is not non-anticipated, it's already in there.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be next year, maybe the next. What are you gonna do
Okay.
then?
Just making it clear.
Well, I'm making it clear that
Okay.
I said it in the budget meeting, you guys heard it.
Sure, thank you.
Thanks. Motion to introduce.
Second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Okay. Ordinance,
Since
oh,
the
we've already voted on it.
personnel handbook was tabled, then
Yeah, skip that.
we'll just, this would be tabled as well.
Okay, thank you. I was looking for that. Okay, now down to second readings. Ordinance number 2024-30 to vacate the part of the public platted Liberty Lane, Delaware County, Selma, Indiana.
This was a, consideration of the public hearing last meeting. Both the property owners agree, both property owners are gonna share. And this is just a second reading to approve this particular vacation of this platted road, alley, whatever it is.
Everybody's gonna be happy then.
Right, yeah, my name is David Carnes, I'm an attorney with Dennis Winger Neighborhood 324 West Jackson, and both of the owners are here, Kimberly Honing and Stephanie DeWitt, who's now Stephanie Clark, and they're just asking to vacate this road that was never developed on Liberty Lane between the two properties.
And I'd like to thank them, they've probably been cutting the grass and, so we appreciate you being good neighbors. So move.
I make a motion, we adopt ordinance 2024-030.
Second. Roll call.
Mr. Henry.
Yes,
Ms. Reagan.
Yes.
King.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay, any department heads have anything they'd like to discuss today? elected officials.
Tony Skinner, Delaware County Sheriff. The folks from IRACs were here a little bit ago, asking for money. I just want to talk about briefly, what a great program that is for us. We've had it for about 2.5 years, and I specifically want to focus in on what Jamie said about the recidivism rate. I did a quick Google search this weekend of recidivism rate for the Indiana Department of Corrections, and you can find a number between 33 and 38 or 40% for the prisons. Keep in mind that those are 3-year, anybody that's been arrested, convicted, and sent back to prison within 3 years. If it's 4 years or 5 years, that number is not reflected, and it's only people that are sent back to prison. If you get arrested on a misdemeanor and you serve time in jail, the DOC recidivism rate isn't reflected. If you get arrested, convicted, sentenced to time served, or you get sentenced to the Delaware County or any county jail, the number isn't reflected. So that recidivism rate for the state is much higher than 33 to 40%. It's probably closer to 50 in reality. But in 2.5 years, the recidivism rate for people that have went through IRACs at our jail is 16.5% roughly. And that is just fantastic. It proves the program is working. We figured when the program started that they would start asking for money because they fully funded the first few years. So this year they're asking for 30%. I don't know if it's going to stay at that rate for the next couple of years or go up, but whatever the money the county spends on that, we are getting it back in good returns for our community and our citizens. You guys talked about maybe you can find the money in the edit program. That would be great. I know that the money that's been sitting there in the opioid settlement money from a couple of years ago, that's something that can be used. Even this ordinance that was just introduced about the ARP, interest, if that's available, I don't agree with that ordinance, but if it's there, then whatever. But I do want to say the IRACS program is working. It's been great for us, and I fully support it and ask for you to continue to support it.
Sheriff, you might suggest that Jamie meet you out there, Bain.
Say that again?
Jamie Bain from the health department.
That he what?
If he meets you out there and meets the people, and maybe he'd give us some money from that fund.
Jamie, if you're watching, we need some money. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else?
Pam McCammon, Human Resource Director. I'm sorry I wasn't here earlier this morning because I was in another meeting. I thank John for bringing the handbook up. We are after the first of the year going to have a handbook committee to go through the handbook, but there's a couple things that John and I have worked on that needs to go into effect 1/1. As far as the PTO time and the wordage and all that stuff. So how does that fall, John, as far as that going into effect on 1/1?
Well, we changed the language, but all the language does was to reflect the interpretation that you've been giving all along. So I think that you can still continue to interpret it, but that's why I suggested, I wanted to know how long it was going to take for this committee to do its process. And I think that was the concern of Commissioner Henry too.
I can schedule the meeting anytime. I just was waiting until after the first of the year.
Get it scheduled.
Okay, after the first of the year or before?
Yeah,
I can do that.
Right,
That's
right
not a
after the first
problem.
year, but
I just didn't know how we were gonna.
Let's get it going.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I have something. I received an email from Eaton EMTs. They received one of the ambulances from the EMS replacement program that we had years ago. It has our name on it. They're wanting to do similar to what Daleville did. It's a 2016 MedX ambulance. They're wanting to get it re-chassis, so they're asking that we sign the title and give to them. So I'll make a motion, we approve that request.
Second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Ms. Reagan,
Yes,
King,
thank you. Okay, nothing else. We have the claims of $2,804,884 $276.87 into claims.
Motion to pay the claims.
Second. Roll call.
Henry,
Yes.
Strigan,
Yes.
King,
Payment of ARP claims, $11,660.
Motion to pay the ARP claims.
Second. Roll call.
Henry,
Yes.
Strigan,
Payroll, $1,303,820.56.
Motion to pay payroll.
Second. Roll call.
Strigan,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
King.
Now it's time for the public, if anybody'd like to speak. I guess they must have left. And our next meeting will be a special meeting on, year end of Monday, December the 30th. And I set it for 10 a.m. It'll be for, final
End of the year cleanup
Claims
sort of
and-
thing. End of the year cleanup sort of thing.
cleanup, things we've missed.
December 30th at what time?
She's supposed to.
10 a.m., I
30th,
think.
10 a.m.
I'll get the notices out to the media.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'd like to have a motion to recess.
Motion to recess.
Second.
Henry,
Roll call, please.
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Strigan.
Yes. Thank you. Everybody stay safe and Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.